Welcome, everybody, to episode 16 of Community Chronicles. This will be our season 1 finale, and I could not be excited. We've been keeping this one in our back pocket for a long, long time. I've just been letting them fester and piss and moan about not being on the show, making them think that I wasn't going to let them do it. And so for our last episode of season 1, I thought that I would bring in a man that I consider to be a mentor, right? My Maharishi of the mat. A man who I consider to be a friend as much as you can consider anyone a friend whom you have not seen in 3 dimensions. The main man, denizens of American Legion halls and high school gyms all over New England once knew him as RJ DeLuise, the one and only RTD Fitness's own Mark DeCicco. Mark, welcome to the show.
Wow. I mean, I thought it was going to be a dynamite intro, but that made me sound like somebody. Thank you, Anthony. That was super cool.
That's no problem. I know it's all downhill from here, but
yeah, well, because I'm going to start saying stuff. So everything from this point on is going to be bad.
You know what, Mark, this is a really special episode for me to have you on here. Cause I do feel like you're a guy who's been a huge part of, I don't use the word journey here cause it's a trope, but a big part of my epic adventure here with DDPY. You've really kept me between the rails. I feel like I owe it to you to do a little something special here for season 1 finale and one of my favorite guys in the community. Give me like 45 seconds here. I'll be right back.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Now I felt like a real schlub just sitting here in a t-shirt. You know, you got your nice pea coat. You're in your business casual attire. So I figured I would dress for the occasion here and celebrate our season 1 finale with my favorite shirt and my black gold velour here. What better way to celebrate our final episode and our best guest yet? So no offense to the rest of you.
You've had some killer guests. So
I mean,
I'm a lot of fun, but you've had some really inspirational people on here. You had some great people in the community that nobody would have seen otherwise. You know, I kind of rise to the top because I've lost, 190 pounds and I got the easy, like side by sides to see the progress. So those are easy. People know who I am that way. So it's like, whatever, but you've had some awesome people on who've done some pretty amazing things. And so it's cool. It's really cool that you're doing this because it's people that, everybody knows the Dobbinses, everybody knows the Caitlins, everybody knows, the folks that just won. Everybody knows Stephanie, everybody knows Brian. I mean, everybody knows Jeremy, everybody knows these guys. So it's not, for you to put people in front of this thing that normally wouldn't get featured is super cool, man. Super cool.
I agree. And that was part of the purpose when we started this. When I always say it's really just been me. So I take all the credit for the 2 handfuls of you that follow this show. We wanted to feature people that weren't being featured somewhere else. We wanted to do it in a shorter sample more often, just to expose people to the community. I maybe could have choose better phrasing, but
let that one go. That's a freebie. It's a free one right there. We're just gonna let that one slide through.
You gotta
get canceled after this performance here, so I'm not trying to be.
Well, you gotta, as you said, you've gotten a lot more exposure and airtime than the majority of the community. I mean, you're on Fabulous Facebook Friday like once a month. You've done literally every other program within as far as podcasts and interview shows within the DDPY community. So yeah, we've kind of seen a lot of you. And then as far as getting a chance to sit down and chat, you and I chat twice a week over coffee for wake and shake workouts. So I feel like I kind of know everything I need to know about Mark. But what else could we show everybody out there? So as we do with everybody, most of us have heard it, but let's hear it again, the condensed version of what brought you to the program and what it's done for you since.
Sure. So I've been around the wrestling world. I'm a independent wrestling commentator as part of my intro was the RJ DeLuise piece, which is my wrestling pseudonym. So I know a lot of guys who have actually used DDP yoga successfully, who, are professional wrestlers who, talked about it. Like it, my one buddy who's Ivar in the Viking Raiders, he had a, really bad back and just terrible. And he swore by DDP yoga, and and so just said that it was absolutely life changing for him. And so I had seen the Vance videos. I had seen guys who were my size. I'm 420 pounds at the time in November 2019, and so I was, circling around the program. I saw the success stories. Arthur's story is one that speaks to me in a different way. Like it's sort of like I just have so much respect for Arthur and seeing his story, and just how amazed I am by sort of his progress. But what I really needed to see was like the Dobbinses, and I needed to see, the Vances of the world. I needed to see giant guys who were my size who had used this program successfully. And so for me, I had gotten some bad news at a doctor's appointment. I was trying to get my gastric bypass surgery, which is a weight loss surgery. And so a lot of people have lots of thoughts about weight loss surgery, and I'm not here to say whether someone should or shouldn't. It's been a great tool for me. It's been a huge part of my success, along with my nutrition. It's been a huge reason why I'm here today and having the success that I'm having. But it's an individual decision. It's a decision you make with your family and your doctor, and your medical team. And so I'm not here to advocate one way or the other. You do what you need to do. But I was in the process. I was halfway through the 6 months of getting approved to have the process, and I had to lose a bunch of weight, and I had lost some, but they changed the goalpost on me and told me I had to lose like 10% of my body weight, which at the time was like 42 pounds. And so I had no other way to do it. And I was just basically a broken person crying after the session. The nurse couldn't have been nicer to me. She was like, I wish, I didn't have this news for you, but I do. And you got to lose this weight. And so that day I went home and downloaded the app and started. And so I started doing it 420 pounds. I was doing energy. I was doing fat burner. Not well. I was modifying everything. I couldn't do, I tell the story all the time, but I can't, I'm down in pinfall. I can't go into human cannibal. I can't pull my knees to my chest. I can barely sit up because my stomach is in the way. So I'm just basically sitting up and going, all right, that's it for now. Like, when I say cheat till you don't cheat anymore, I cheated every single move. There was not one move I could do effectively, correctly from the beginning. So I started beginner. I didn't start in bed because I had too much pride and ego to let myself do that. So I just fumbled around on the mat for months, but I saw success. I knew it was modifiable. I knew I could do it at the size that I was enough to get the benefits. And so I knew if I modified, I could get the benefits. And so I lost 30 pounds in the next 2 months. I qualified for the surgery. And I used DDP yoga every day. I did Tom Wallen's 100-day challenge right before the event. And I made it like 50, 60 days straight in a row, which I'd never done anything like that. And so used that as a motivator, and then, got to the surgery. 1 month after the surgery, went right back to energy, went right back to fat burner. And, now I'm beyond, I'm in a custom, on the app, but I'm, pretty advanced with my flows and my work. And so I just, for me, this community, this program is like nothing else on the internet in the world and that's not hyperbole from my perspective. I just think it's special here. And so that's part of why RTD Fitness exists. It's part of why at a year in the program, I decided I needed to get certified in this so I could hand it off to other people who wouldn't have gotten it otherwise. And I've had just incredible scenarios and met amazing people, yourself included, who I just appreciate everything you had to say. And I consider you, just one of the best people that I know, and a friend, and just an incredibly generous and kind spirit, and a person who goes out of his way for others. And so, so many people like that have showed up and worked out with me from all over the world. The humility that comes, like last year at this time, I was getting ready to do the like New Year's workout with Marcel and the crew. And this year I get to like be in front of the, camera doing the actual workout. And so for me, those are the kinds of things that matter to me, meeting Dallas and talking to Dallas and having all those experiences. Those are important, and certainly things I love and would love to do more of. But for me, the community is bigger than Dallas. And he says that. I mean, when I got to speak to him on the phone, and he was like, this is your community. Like, you guys run this thing. And because I was thanking him and saying, it kind of stems from him. The positivity, the way that we are in the community with each other is a direct extension of him. And I believe that. And so for me, getting to tell him that over the phone was super cool. And so just, so I've been very grateful. I've met some incredible people. I've gotten just such cool experience. The instructor community has been so welcoming and caring, and gone out of their way to teach me so that I could be the best teacher I can be. And helping and reaching out and taking my classes and telling me afterwards where I can improve and not being afraid to tell me, where I got to do better. But also, sharing where I'm doing well. And that, for free, people do this, it's unbelievable, the community. And so I know it, I know I'm preaching to the choir, but this is the best place on earth. And so, it doesn't matter. Nobody cares what your political leanings are. Nobody cares how you feel about, anything. We're all here for a single purpose, which is just to make our lives better, to own it, and to be, positive influence around the people around us. And that's what I'm trying to do. So, that's me.
The best part about interviewing Mark is that you don't even need to ask questions. You give him one little prompt, and there it goes. Like I gotta just put a freeze frame of myself over here. Nobody knows the difference, because
you got the good nonverbals. You're nodding along. So I feel like I'm being heard. Your nonverbal game is very strong. I don't need a ton of questions.
But you said a lot in there about the community, about not just the DDP yoga community as a whole, but how we may be inspired by Dallas Page, but it's really its own thing, and it's the members of the community that make it great. We all were prompted to come here by that same guy, but then we kind of do what you do with the program. You make it your own, and you make it a place to celebrate people's participation in the program. And then as far as the instructor thing, if it weren't for an RTD fitness community and Mark DeCicco himself, I probably would have fallen off at some point in the last 10 months, just because if you're doing it on your own by yourself, you get discouraged, So being expected to be there at 5 a.m. on Tuesday and Thursday, I'm a people pleaser. So I feel like I got to at least show up and at least half-ass it to show somebody that, I'm committed to being here. And it makes me keep going. And so I appreciate you for that. Would you tell me, as far as what's the coolest experience for you so far in your time as an instructor? What's been the coolest experience you've had there?
A lot of neat stuff. A lot of people individually have reached out and worked out with me. People from high school, people from my life, that I've known in different ways have reached out and wanted to do workouts. And so some have panned out, some have done multiple workouts with me. Some have done, a lot of them, and then just stopped or whatever. And just need to connect with people that way, that from sort of different parts of your life. For me, I think the thing that just is always striking, and I talk about it when we're working out, together, but just the progress, seeing people, the people who come regularly, knowing where you were and then seeing where you are now, that's the stuff that lights the fire for me, man. It's just super cool to and to know that we're doing basically the same sort of level 1 workout every day, but there's always some way to modify it up and make it more challenging. And so that's what I love, is on a day where you're feeling it, it's like, okay, I'm going to get a little deeper in lunge. All right, I'm going to take, a little bit more. I'm going to focus on my breathing a little bit more. There's ways to take the same exact workout and make it a, super challenging workout, doing the exact same moves. And so, that's why I like doing the similar workout, on a standard way. And because, because of the level 1 traineeship, I'm only supposed to be doing level 1 moves when I'm training. So, but even if that weren't true, I believe in the flow. And so I believe that the basics, doing the little things right often, is a real key to success. And so, people want to be fancy and do black crows and stand on their head, and that's fine. There's a place for that, and that is awesome, and it's super cool to see. But it's a gimmick, and it's not the real, can you get deep in lunge? Can you do the extra stuff? That like you said, being good at this is what's the award? The reward is the longevity and your life being awesome, and the physical relief that I feel when I do it, but that I see from others. People texting me and saying my back feels better. Like, dude, we did that stretch and I can get around now. I'm getting out of my car easier. That kind of stuff for me is just so important. And so that's the stuff that I want to do. More of and see more of. And that's what keeps me motivated to stay doing this.
Well, what do you say? The time is escaping us already. because Marksman,
because I say all the words.
It's too much riffing. And the one thing, you're looking very dapper today, but it's almost a crime that you're wearing a long sleeve shirt, because the biggest change that I've seen this year is in Mark's upper arms. I mean, I'm not even going to attempt. Like that's not a thing that I'm ever going to shoot for. And I don't know if it was intentional on Mark's part or what it is, but the guns on this guy, I mean, he could give Stephanie Kelly a run for her money at this point with the buys, the tries.
Steph's a monster. Steph's a monster. Brian's a monster. These guys got serious arms. The grand champions. I mean, I saw Patrick's picture. These grand champions are regular champions. I don't know what we call everybody, but I don't want to cause trouble. But everybody's a champion in my mind. Everybody's great. They're monsters, man. But yeah, so I have intentionally really focused on my upper body. I've been using the jack straps. I use them with weights because I keep my DDP yoga separate from my jacked workouts that I do. So I know that's different and people have different approaches, and that's fine. But for me, I like doing them differently, and I have trouble sort of fiddling a little bit with the straps during the DDP yoga workouts, especially if I'm teaching. I do much better if it's just me sort of following along. But if I'm teaching, it's hard to call everything and twist and let out and do. But I swear by the jack straps. Dr. Tom has been just an incredible support of not just the entire community, but the jack community. His own just generosity and selflessness. He's indicative of what the community, the best qualities of the community, and so he's been just a huge support in that. And yeah, the arm game is where I want it to be. I'm very happy about it. I never in a million years imagined I'd be somebody who was like wearing a cutoff shirt ever. I just didn't imagine it, and so at the size I was, that wasn't even a dream. To be able to wear a cutoff and unironically and comedically and just wear it because I can and because my arms were, I'm excited to.
Now looking for reasons to, you're wearing cutoffs at Thanksgiving dinner and all sorts of places just because you can now. It's like, well, wouldn't you if you had to, wouldn't you do the same?
If you could, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you if you could?
And I agree, but as far as the incorporating weights, even I see now even DDP and Yoga Doc are starting to do that. They see value to it too. It's just something different. It's another way to add something to it.
I got to meet Yoga Doc, super cool guy. He's from like right where I'm from in New York. And so I got to meet him, which was an awesome experience. Super nice guy. I got to thank him for giving us the program and just being such a super positive, awesome guy. And I was talking to him, he was saying he's using these weights, and I'm like, bro, I'm doing all weights with this. So, it's just like cool to pick his brain to see like what he and I are both doing in the community, with our workouts. It's just, it's fun to have these conversations. So everybody kind of does, their own thing, whatever works for them. So.
Exactly. Well, what do you say? We fast forward here, we roll on to the next thing and get into some rapid fire questions as we like to do here. So we can get you on your merry way.
I love it.
All right. So some of these I've recycled because there's some that I just like. Right. So what is your favorite sound?
My daughter's laugh.
Your least favorite sound?
The beeping of the scale.
If you were, here's the desert island scenario. You're going to get stuck on a desert island and you've got one movie that has to play on a loop the entire time. What movie are you picking?
Tommy Boy.
Good choice. What is the best wrestling match you've seen live?
Live. Oh, wow. Live.
You've seen a lot of them. You've seen a lot of the greats.
I've seen a lot of live wrestling matches. I've said this a lot. And when this question comes up and it's very obscure, so that's why I like using it as an answer. But Sasha Banks, Charlotte Flair, they were in their really starting NXT, their feud in NXT that was really getting hot a few years back. Now, obviously, a number of years back because they're both huge stars now. But they put on a wrestling clinic. They were main eventing. It was right around the time that they started putting women in the main event. And so Sasha Banks, Charlotte Flair went for like a half hour in the Albany Armory and just absolutely like reversal after bank statement into just rolling into so many super cool combos and back and forths, and it was such a cool thing because I got to see somebody who I had seen come up through the independents being a major star, and so before her major star took off, and the matches they were putting on were just clinics. They had been in Philly the night before, they hit Albany, and they were just, trying stuff out that you wouldn't even see on TV because it's like probably won't even work, so having a house show where you can do that was super neat. So that was one of the best live wrestling shows I've ever seen.
I believe it. It sounds like a good one. Who, whether on the app or in the ancillary community, who is your favorite DDPY instructor? You can say it. Don't worry about hurting people's feelings. You can pick one.
It's tough. I'm a big Hayden guy. I've copied a lot of, his advanced is basically one of his advanced is one of the flows I use a lot for what I'm doing with my workouts. And so Hayden's just an incredible instructor, but so many great instructors out there. I'm not going to name drop, but just everybody who's taken the time, the Nicholses, the Boomas, the Travises, Toms, all of these folks who come by and take the time to work out with me and to share with me their feedback and help. It has been just, and I'm sure I'm forgetting people, but Amanda Blocker, all these folks who come out of their way to take these workouts and share their feedback, just super awesome. Nitra is amazing. I mean, the community, the instructor community is, just a super great group of people who have their heads in the right spot and want to do good and help others. I mean, you can't say.
Well, I mean, the fact that you guys are all getting super rich doing it on the side is just a perk.
I'm rolling in dough, just cash is all everywhere.
Who's your favorite student?
My favorite student?
I'm not putting you on the spot.
My favorite student, you can't pick a favorite kid. My favorite student is the one I haven't met yet.
Oh, that's beautiful. See, I told you, Rick, it's not you either. What is, let's say within the last 2 years, what's been your proudest moment?
My proudest moment in the last 2 years was getting to be with my dad before he passed last December, and him getting to see me in person. COVID happened, and he hadn't seen me other than videos and stuff, and so getting to be there with him before he passed, and getting to share with him my success, and letting him kind of know that I'm okay. When I knew he worried a lot about my health and my well-being, and that for me was a powerful event.
He's the reason, right? He's the namesake of RTD Fitness.
Reason, baby. RTD
so
Fitness,
yeah, shout out to Pops.
Thomas DeCicco.
Yeah, rest in peace. What is the worst advice you've ever received?
Be yourself.
I've gotten that one a few times too. What is the best advice you've ever received?
Don't take advice from people who are doing worse off than you are.
It's good. It's good. The last thing that we ask people to do on this show, Mark, of course, is to pick a member or two of the DDP yoga community that you think deserves a little bit of recognition. So pick somebody to shout out and give us a little bit of why.
Sure. Shout out to the whole brotherhood, which is my guys. It's you, it's Rick, it's Chris Payne. It's my guys Billy and Kevin, and I know Kevin's having a hard time right now. Kevin Murray, just an unfortunate accident, and his back is shot, and it was already pretty bad. And so, to talk about selfless and generous, that group of guys that I just listed are the absolute epitome of selfless and caring. And so shout out to just all those guys, and everybody who's taken the time to work out and support me in this process and RTD Fitness. It is not lost on me that you don't have to do this, and you don't have to be, in this with me. And the fact that folks have taken the time and have come and done the workouts and continue to show up, the fact that we have 6 or 7 people in the morning now at 6 a.m. Eastern time is just, it's unbelievable to me. So I'm just very, very grateful to have this opportunity to hand this thing out that was given to me and that has made my life infinitely better. And so just very, very grateful to you personally. And, I know I bomb on you for not having me on here, but what you've done here, what you do for the community, what you've meant for me personally, and the work that we're doing at RTD Fitness is just, it means so much. And so just super grateful to get to tell you that and to have it be recorded forever. So
yeah, forever, or until my wife makes me delete it. So yeah, but I genuinely appreciate that. I mean, I'm pretty great, but I genuinely do appreciate that. And so yeah, and shout out to Kevin. Hope he heals up soon. It's the very first other DDPY person that I ever got a chance to meet. I went on a trip to Indiana this summer, drove on up to Flint, and got to visit Kevin and his family for a couple hours. Just a genuinely good dude.
Amazing guy, yeah.
And yeah, deserves all the things with the energy that he puts out there. So,
Sure.
All right, Mark, you survived. We did it. Season 1. It's in the can. Yeah. Hey, yip, woo, whippy. Yeah. So now it's an excuse for me to not do any of these for a few weeks, which is good because probably wouldn't have happened anyway. So,
Great, bro.
Yeah, wrapping it up here. May all your delights be Deloise. Don't forget to do this tomorrow. See ya.